Look out of your eyes. Look at the world around you. You see colors and shadows and lines and curves and light. And your mind is making sense of them so that you're able to go around that world and live your life. What is the boundary of your vision? Now, of course, you cannot look at the things behind you. You can only look at things in front of you and a little bit around you. There is a boundary to it. There is a boundary in the third person. There is something that is over here is not visible to you. But is the boundary itself visible to you? Can you sense the boundary? Now close your eyes for a second. I want you to close your eyes, and what you see, you still see things. You see a sphere of what you think is black, but if you look closely, it's not actually black. There is still colors and shades coming in and coming out depending on what you're looking at. But that's not the point. That's all right. Whatever you see, it's fine. Can you now see the boundary of the thing that you're seeing? Can you perceive the boundary? Well, if you think you can perceive the boundary, you must realize that that boundary that you're perceiving has to be a part of your visual field. Otherwise, you won't be perceiving it. You won't be seeing it. Our vision is bound by something, but that is something that we can never perceive. So for all intents and purposes, to us, as the first person viewer, as the first person perceiver of the world, our vision is boundaryless. Our vision is boundless. It is not infinite, but it might as well be. This feature of our visual perception is used as a meditative device in some form of Buddhist meditation. Sam Harris's meditation comes back to vision quite a lot. The duality of me perceiving that I'm sitting behind my eyes and the world around me is a false duality. If I look closely, there is no boundary between me and the world. What I perceive is boundaryless, and I can perceive it anytime I choose to look. By definition, I cannot perceive that boundary, because to perceive boundary is to perceive the outside as different from the inside. But by definition, I cannot perceive what is outside of my perception. We are fooled into thinking that we perceive the boundary, but we do not. Now, what I am saying might not make any sense at all. But look at the facts that we have to deal with. The facts of the universe that we have to deal with. Facts like the Big Bang was the start of the timeline of the universe. To ask what came before the Big Bang is told to be a question that does not make any sense. If you ask a physicist what came before the Big Bang, it's possible that you will get the answer that the time itself started at the Big Bang. It's like asking what is north of North Pole, and it still doesn't make it clear. How can there be a boundary to something that you cannot go beyond? Similarly, an expanding universe. Scientists say, physicists say that the universe is expanding. You might ask, what is it expanding into? If the space itself is part of the universe, what is it expanding into? What is beyond? Can't we just fly to the boundary and just cross the boundary? All these questions do not make sense to our mind, but I believe, and that's why I'm sharing this, I'm sharing this video. The fact that our vision itself, our visual perception itself has this property of boundlessness, even when it has a boundary. It's just the fact that these questions about the universe, about the boundary of space and the boundary of time of the universe, these questions are so out of our comfort zone and the way we perceive the world. When you notice the boundlessness of your own vision, something that is so visceral to you, something that's so close to you as your vision can have this boundarylessness to it. And you can perceive it directly. This is where I think you can get a sense of the paradox in a more real way, rather than just with words. I'm not saying they're similar or they're physically similar or they're mathematically similar. It's kind of a similar conundrum. The fact that we are inside the universe is the reason we cannot perceive the outside of the universe or what the universe is expanding into. Similarly, just the fact that we are the perception, what we see is the perception, we cannot see the boundaries of it because it's by definition outside of it. Hope this makes sense. There's something there perceptually that I like and I think people would get something out of. So I wanted to share it with you guys. Thanks for watching. If you like such content, help the channel grow by subscribing and sharing and all.